Good morning everybody. So today we're going to be looking at our next part of our assembly preparation. So yesterday you thought about lots of different feelings, what we actually have done in year 3. Today we're going to be thinking about how we can present them in one way and about thinking about our feelings before we actually, in tomorrow's lesson, look at what you can tell me about. So we're going to start off with some spag and then we're going to be moving on to show you what you can be doing. So last time we were looking at conjunctions, can you just have a quick think, what conjunctions have we thought about already? What's the difference between the conjunctions and what examples could you come up with? So last time we found out that there was a coordinating conjunction which connected two sentences together with words such as and, but, for. Remember we had fanboys, which was something to help us think of the right words. Then last time we had subordinating conjunctions, so these were where it gave you a little bit, you put them in to join the two sentences together, but it was more to, it could go at the beginning of a sentence as well, but it is more to give you more information, to give you the reason why. So today we're going to look at correlative conjunctions, and these are pairs of conjunctions used in a sentence to join different words or groups of words in a sentence together. So they are generally used to link two or more words of equal importance within the sentence. So we've got words such as neither and nor, which we use together, just as and so, either or, both and, not only but, and whether or. So they are opposites. So Sam enjoyed both the film and the popcorn. So it's how we can use two conjunctions in the same sentence to connect the words together. So here are some sentences that we're going to have a go at doing first of all, and then I'm going to let you have a go at trying to write some of your own. So we've got some different examples here. So we need to think about which words we could use, which conjunctions we could use as a pair. So I'm not sure something, I'm going to watch the match something. So if we think about which words, well, it's trying to say, I'm not sure if they're going to watch the match or if they're not going to watch it. So if we have a look to see which words, which conjunctions we could use. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to watch the match or not. Well, that makes sense because it's saying I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it or I'm not going to watch it. So we can see how using the first word, whether, in the first gap and the second word or in the second gap gives us some more information some more detail for our sentences. If we put the next ones in, I'm not sure either I'm going to the match or not. That doesn't make sense. I'm not sure both I'm going to the match and not. That doesn't make sense. I'm not sure not only I'm going to the match but not. Okay, so we can see how that one doesn't make sense. So what I'd like you to write is the subheading correlative conjunctions, and I want you to have a go at finding the correct words which are conjunctions that are going to go in these gaps. Now remember, whether and or are together, either and or are together, both and are together, and not only and but are together. So the two gaps in your sentences need to be those words there. So pause the video now, see if you can have a go, just like I've done, read out the words, putting in the words to see the conjunctions to see whether it sounds right, whether it makes sense. Then play the video and we'll see if you have got them correct. Okay, so let's have a look to see. So we looked at the first one. I'm not sure whether I'm going to the match or not. Now the second one, my mum is not only a brilliant doctor, but she is a great runner too. Now if we'd have used the other words, it wouldn't have made sense because it's trying to say that she's both a brilliant doctor and a runner, but it's saying that she's not only just one, she's two different things. The weather forecast is to be something hot and humid. So the weather forecast is to be whether hot or humid. That doesn't make sense. The weather forecast is to be either hot or humid. That one would work because it's saying it's one or the other. The weather forecast is to be both hot and humid. Now that one works really well because if it's hot it tends to be humid. Humid means it's like sticky temperature, and the weather forecast is to be not only hot but humid. So that one would also work, but the most appropriate one there would be both hot and humid. And finally, we are having something pasta, something curry for dinner. So it's making a comparison here. So the correct one would be we are having either pasta or curry for dinner. This time we're going to use correlative conjunctions to rewrite these sentences. So instead of saying I like carrots, I like asparagus, well, it's not saying that she likes one or the other, it's saying that she likes both of them. So which one do you think is going to be most appropriate? So we know that both and because it's saying that she likes both carrots and asparagus. So that she could say, instead of saying I like carrots, I like asparagus, she could have wrote I like both carrots and asparagus. So we can put these two sentences together by using the correlative conjunctions. See if you can do the next one. So I don't know if it's going to be sunny, I don't know if it's going to be raining. Think about which one would be appropriate there. See if you can have a go at writing it into a sentence, and then I will go through and show you what your sentences could be. And then finally, she is the regional champion, she's also the national champion. So think about which one of those you could write in there. Think about how you could form your sentence. Have a go. If you're not sure, don't worry about it. We'll have another look at doing these together, but see if you can see how you can connect those two sentences together using the correlative conjunctions. So let's have a look at these questions and let's see what sentences you came up with. So because the first one is saying that there's two things that she likes, we can say that she likes both. So we can say I like both carrots and asparagus. So you could have got that as your sentence because we've got both and. So I don't know if it's going to be sunny, I don't know if it's going to be raining. So it's something that she's unsure about. So we could either say I don't know if it's either going to be sunny or raining, because it's saying that she doesn't know which one it's going to be. Alternatively, your sentence could have slightly changed to have said, I don't know whether it is going to be sunny or raining. So either one of those would have worked. So well done if you got those correct, because it's making a we don't know which one it's going to be. And finally, she is the regional champion. She's also the national champion. So it's saying that she's two things. So there's actually two ways that we could say it. We could either say that she is not only the regional champion, but she's also the national champion. And alternatively, you could have said she is both the regional champion and the national champion. So you could have said that as well. So just like we did earlier, you're going to have a go at writing some sentences now. So obviously we've looked at some sentences, I'm going to show you a few more examples, and then I'd like you to see if you can have a go at using these sentences to come up with seeing if you can put the correlative conjunctions into your sentences. So neither or nor, we could have Jay had seen neither the snake nor the wasp nest in the next tree. So it's saying that he didn't see one and he didn't see another. I don't know if it's either going to be sunny or raining. I like both carrots and asparagus. She is not only the regional champion, but is also the national champion. And finally, I don't know whether it's going to be sunny or raining. So we can see there's some examples there that you can use. Now I'd like you to have a go at using these different correlative conjunctions into your writing. So you can either use the ones that I've done here and up level them, so adding more adjectives or adverbs, or alternatively you can use these to come up with your own sentences. So if, for example, if we look at the one where I like both carrots and asparagus, you can tell me something that you like, two things that you like. It could be that you could tell me that a family member of yours is not only good at something but also good at something else. It could be that you're also saying that you are. So I'd like you now to have a go at seeing if you can write these 5 different correlative conjunctions into a sentence. Again, if you're struggling, please use the sentences I've used here and up level them using some adjectives and adverbs or different sentence openers as well. Okay, so I'd like you to look back from the work that you completed yesterday, where you were telling me all about what we've done in year 3, what you've enjoyed, and how you felt throughout the year, and the reasons why. So I want you to just have a quick flick back now, and I want you to go and have a think about these questions. How did you feel? Why did you feel this way? What did you enjoy? And why did you enjoy it? And what did you find a challenge? So have a look at your work from yesterday and see if you can verbally just find and answer these questions. Once you've done that, press play and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so I'd now like you to have a go at writing down these sentences. So you should already now know from your work yesterday and from what you've just looked at now, you should be able to answer these questions. So I'd like you to write the questions down. What I have enjoyed the most and why. What I have found as a challenge but overcome this. and why, and what the most interesting thing is that I have learnt in year 3, and how did I feel and why did I feel this way. So I'd like you to write these questions down. Then what I would like you to do underneath is write a really detailed answer. So I'm going to go through some examples now of what you might write. If you have already wrote yours, you can look at these examples to see if yours are something similar and see if you can add anything extra to them as well. So here are some examples of some questions that you might want to use. You might want to use some of these ideas to help you when you go to do yours as well. So I've wrote the question and I've underlined it. Underneath I've then wrote my answer. So I've said throughout year 3 I've enjoyed a lot of different aspects. However, one moment that really stands out to me is learning about the Titanic. I really enjoyed learning about this historical event as I have never heard of the Titanic before, and now I feel like an expert on this. So there we can see exactly what I've enjoyed the most and why. My second question, what I have found a challenge and how I have overcome this. So in year 3 I have learnt lots of new and interesting facts. However, to start with, I found them incredibly challenging. For example, I found learning about how to find fractions of an amount a real challenge, as I had never found this before in maths. Through practicing my timetables, I found that this really helped my understanding of fractions and helped me overcome this challenge. So again, it's really clear as to what I found a challenge, what I did to overcome it, and how I feel now. Question 3, what is the most interesting thing that I have learned in year 3? And I've answered, there are lots of interesting facts that I have learned in year 3. However, one fact that particularly stands out was how I learned that there are different types of farming, such as arable and pastoral. I learnt that arable farming is where farmers look after and produce crops such as wheat and barley, and pastoral farming is where farmers look after animals such as cows and sheep. So again, I've not only just said what the most interesting thing was, but I've also told you what I learnt. How did I feel and why did you feel this way? So at the start of year 3, I was a little apprehensive to start as I wasn't sure who my new teacher was going to be or what we would be learning about. However, once in year 3, I felt so happy learning about different events and time periods alongside my friends. I especially was excited when we found out that we were going on a trip to the Yorkshire Museum, as this was a place that I had never visited before. So if you haven't done your sentences as detailed as mine, I'd like you now to spend this first bit first. Just go and make sure you've got as much detail in as possible, just like my examples, so that yours are really as detailed as they can be. So how are you now going to present your opinions? So we're going to have a look at some ideas. You might want to use some of these. You also can come up with your own ideas as well. So one way that you might want to do it is on a piece of paper. You can do it however you wish. You could draw bubbles, you could draw shapes, you can do whatever you like. But within these, you could tell me, so your 4 sentences that you have, your 4 questions that you've just answered, you could write each of these in each of the bubble and put it on a piece of paper. You could also put a title on there to say my time in year 3, or another example you can do would be have I enjoyed year 3. Could have it as a question. You could say just year 3 could be your title. So you could put these in and then you could put bubbles to actually say what your questions were and your answers. Now you could put the questions in there, or you could just do the answers that you have wrote out. Now once you have presented your work, so you could do it like that. Alternatively, you might want to choose one of these other options. So once you have got it presented, you could either hold your piece of writing up and just take a picture of it. You could then also film it and actually of you actually reading it out. So it could be that as you're holding it up, you're reading out what you have put. It could be that it could be just on the table and you could just put a voice over it. So you could take a picture of it and put a voice over it, or you could put it down on the table and then you could actually film it whilst you're speaking it. So if you don't want to actually be on camera, that's absolutely fine. You might also want to do it as if you were presenting it in a meeting, so it could be at the side of you, you could be pointing to what you've said on the board, you could be saying, oh, here I've said about that, I've really enjoyed doing, learning about different types of eras in the Stone Age. They're about the 3 different eras. I've really enjoyed this because I didn't even realise that there was something called the Stone Age. Here I'm going to tell you about. So you're constantly you're going to be saying what you have wrote. Now that's another way. So those 3 are very similar. It's just thinking about how you would present it. So you could also do it as a PowerPoint presentation. You could do each opinion on each different slide. What I can then do is if you put them on, when you put them onto Seesaw, I can put them into the presentation so that they run alongside each other as well. So obviously that could be an idea that you could use. So I'd like you now to think of these ideas, which one is it you're going to do? Now, are you going to first of all write it on a piece of paper? Are you going to take a picture of it and actually just do a voiceover? Are you going to hold it up and do a video? Are you going to do a PowerPoint presentation? It is completely up to you how you wish to present this. So once you've decided, I'd like you then to film yourself. So film yourself saying what it is that you've wrote down, or it could be if you don't want to be in a picture. So obviously this is an example here of you could be stood behind a camera or behind a phone if your parents can take a video of you doing it. Or alternatively, you don't have to do it so that you're in the camera. You could just hold it over your piece of work and actually just explain what you have written and why you have written. So it's completely up to you. Now, once you have filmed your video, what I would like you to do is upload your video onto Seesaw or your voiceover onto Seesaw. I would also as well like you to take a picture of your piece of work, so your piece that you had just done, which had got all your questions answered on in your published way. So whether it was in speech bubbles, whether it was in shapes or clouds, or however it is, it could be that they were pop-ups as well. You can do it however you wish. I'd also like you to put a picture of that on Seesaw as well, so that I can use that in the presentation.